What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron. We are brought to you by the Off the Ball Network and your people at Manscaped. Make sure to go to manscaped.com and use promo code Off the Ball or OTBN for 20% off and free shipping. That's promo code Off the Ball or OTBN. 20% off and free shipping, man. That's a good deal, man. You can't go wrong with that deal. That is a hell of a deal. So make sure to use that. Make sure to get it off the ball now with Manscaped. But today I got a special guest with me. One of, I guess he's on the Mount Rushmore of like Knicks fan. No, I'm gonna say it. I know he's shaking his head, but he's on there. He's on that Mount Rushmore. He's one of the most popular Knicks fans that are on, in the social media world. It's an honor to have him on the show. My man Danny B. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? What an introduction, dude. I am honored, but I got a long ways to go, man. I definitely do. So
Yeah,
thank you. I thank you for the praises. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me, man. I'm looking forward to being here.
yeah. No, man. I like to big up the guests, man. You got to big up the guests, and you definitely earned that. You definitely there's a lot of people in our Knicks world that enjoy the stuff you do. So you have your own show. You do a little show after every Knicks game in the morning, which a lot of people enjoy in the morning. It's a nice little few minutes. You get to talk about Danny B Drive. Talk to me about that and how that started.
Yeah, definitely, man. So Danny B Morning Drive. Just a quick 2 minute recap. Mornings after games, on my way to work. You know what I mean? I try to keep it short. I find it tough to consume so much content all the time. So I randomly figured one morning I turned the camera on. I figured let me talk about the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
I got a big response from it, so I kind of just kept it going, and it slowly morphed into what you see out there now, which is again those 2 minute quick recaps. And like I said, I try to keep them short because it's tough for me to consume content. You know what I mean? 45 minutes, an hour is tough. So I just figured let me put it out and what would I want to consume? You know what I mean? And it's been pretty cool, man. It's been a blessing and a pleasure because I love doing it, and the response has just been crazy. So yeah, dude, that's what it is. Just a quick morning drive, and you see the logo now. I got the logo up here,
There you
so
go.
we're making moves.
There you go. There you go. And like you said, it's nice and quick and sweet. You get right to the point, a little quick recap, and people like that, something nice
Yep.
and quick, So, and like you said, you've gotten tremendous responses. Like I see it. Yeah, I see it all the time. You're getting a lot of views. People are looking forward to what you have to say about the game. And it's also better when they're winning, right?
100%,
It's a
dude.
better
100%,
drive,
man.
right?
So it's funny, man, because I've been obviously on Nick's Twitter forever. I've never been this active and participating, but I've always been on and taking a look and seeing what's what. And we all know as Knicks fans what the last 3 4 years have been like. Obviously you could go a couple before them. Although it was fun to watch when Melo was there. Just I love Melo. So but yeah, so we all went through it. So it's a lot better now, obviously, that the tables have turned. And how quickly they turned, man. I mean, in one season, with a completely shuffled deck, reshuffled the deck, the front office, and Leon Rose a hell of a job with everything that he's done. The people he's put in place.
It's
It's been awesome. It really has.
I think awesome is an understatement, bro. Like it's been whatever the top word is. That's what it is. It's just been amazing to
It has.
the
It feels
struggles.
amazing.
It feels amazing, but the struggles have been. I mean, it's well documented. We haven't been a good. This hasn't been a good team to watch. The
Nope.
last. If you want to go even further back, 20 years overall, only one playoff series win. But then the last 7 years, since that playoff series, against the Pacers, when we were number 2 seed, that
Yeah.
infamous block, Roy Hibbert on Melo. We all remember that. But
Never forget.
it's been a downhill since that, Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yep.
That stays in my mind
Yep.
rent free forever.
Dude,
You
I'm
know.
telling you, man, and I'm so like cursed with triangles, dude. When I pull up to a yield sign and I see the triangle shape, I cringe a little. You know what I mean? It's been a long time coming, dude. So it's just amazing to see. And again, amazing is still an understatement to the
Mhm.
turnaround, and I'm sure we'll get into it more. But you could even focus in and look at players, like RJ and Randall. Randall, obviously, the story of the year with his turnaround, so it's
Yeah.
been great. It's been amazing for sure, and it's been quick. You know what I mean? This season, it's been a quick turnaround, and even the season itself went fast. You know what I mean? We're closing in here the last less than 20 games now.
Yeah, it's the end of the season is coming quick, and I think especially just this season, right? The expectations for this season, there weren't any, right? I think for the first time,
Right.
as a fan base and as a team, there wasn't any expectations, and I think that was one of the best things to happen was just not have expectations. Just go into the season with a blank sheet of paper, and
Yeah.
let's just create our own path, right? We don't have to worry about, well, we got to do this, and all that. Let's just focus on the plan and try to attack that plan and be as and see how it goes. And it's worked.
Yep.
It feels like, I don't know about you, but there's times when they've gone on a few, like, they've lost 3 in a row, they'll lose 4 or 5. I'm like, oh, here it goes. This is where it's going to end, right? This is going to be the downhill. We're going to lose 9 of 10 in a row, whatever, and we're just it's just gonna fall apart. But it hasn't been the case. We just we just lost 4 or 5, and now we've just won 5 in a row. So it feels like every time it feels like it's going to end, they ramp up a win streak, or they win 4 out of 5, 6, and I think that's been the biggest, the best thing about this season is that everyone's cohesive, everyone's playing with each other. We don't have a bunch of all NBA defensive guys. Like the defense has been great. We don't have defensive player of the year nominees and all. But they're playing team defense. They're trusting. They like each other. They like
the chemistry is through the roof.
Exactly, and it's just been it's refreshing to see this team, on a night and night basis, just absolutely love each other and play for each other so hard. It's been tremendous so far this season to watch this team play.
It definitely has, and I'll add on to what you said before about expectations, because it's pretty interesting what I feel like we've seen this season from the team, and from our fans. Right. So we came into the season with no expectations. Right. And we blew that out of the water because clearly we started playing higher up. People started questioning, is this real? Can we sustain this? I think we slowly kept proving it as we went on. And as that time went on, the expectations slowly started changing. You know what I mean? So we went from no expectations coming into the season, playing above everybody's expectations, and then now creating even more expectations, because now it's at a sustained level we've been playing, where now it's like we should get to the playoffs. And so and I guarantee if this trend continues in 10 games, now it's like we should win our first playoff game. You know what I mean? Like, it's because the way that this team is playing, it's just every few games we take a step up to another level, and it's like you said, amazing is an understatement, great is an understatement. I don't know what word to use. But it's been special, that's for sure. So I love seeing this, and I can't say that enough. I've been saying I love what I'm seeing. I don't know how many times in the last 3 months, 4 months. So it's freaking great for Knicks fans, man. I mean, when was the last time we felt like this? I wear the red and black hat, dude, today because Randall's been freaking killer mode, dude. 44 points last game. I mean, it just 34, 32.
It's consistent. It's consistent. You're going to get at least 20 from him.
And you know what? We all questioned him when he had that little drop off from the All-Star break.
Yes.
But I really feel like it was a combination between the thigh injury and the minutes that he plays on a nightly basis and our schedule. We didn't have 2-3 days off to give the guy a freaking break.
Exactly.
So he did take the 1 game off. Obviously he came back and he still wasn't playing. So it took a few games. I think now, it's the body's kind of healed itself. Plus, you're constantly playing. So I think he's just kind of moved past that injury now at this point. And we see it,
Yeah. And just talking about Julius, I mean, I hate to bring up the past, but last year, because that last year was absolutely miserable. But he came into a situation that wasn't ideal, right? He was kind of the the complimentary prize, right? He was just like, yeah, okay, we got Julius Randle. You know, when you're everyone's saying you're going to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie
How
Irving
many
and all
power
these stuff.
forwards did we have?
How many power forwards? And he came into a situation that was just awful. It really was bad coaching, expectations. I mean, you got the team playing over the bridge that has, all these guys, that they put together that's supposed to be in New York, and just the media backlash for the Knicks, missing out on these guys that they told us we were getting, and it was just a bad situation for him. He was trying. I guess he was just trying to do too much last year because he was paid to be the guy. He definitely was. He was forcing too much, and let's be real, that team was not good. He didn't have the spacing, the coaching, like you said, wasn't good. So there was a lot of reasons why last year was a dud. But this year came into the season in the best shape possible, right? He came in ready to go, and there could be some factors, right? Like they draft Obi Toppin. They did that Opie, so they did draft the guy that was supposed to take his spot, quote unquote, right? Because there was a lot of trade rumors.
It was smart to do at the time. You know what I mean?
It did make sense.
I don't think anybody disagreed with it when we did it. You know,
and I think the expectations for the Knicks were that they were going to trade him. I really believe that they were going to try to trade it, because you don't draft Obi then. It doesn't make sense.
I agree. It doesn't
make sense. But he and also the non-guarantee for next season. He's only making $4 million guaranteed of that 19 mil. So there was a lot of motivating factors for Julius. He knew he didn't play his best basketball last year, and he knew he had to step up. So he came in and Tibbs said it. He came in the best shape out of everyone. He came in ready to go.
And not only that, mentally too. You know what I mean? To really work on your game down to detail, where you literally fixed what everybody screamed at for last season. You know what I mean? That's so commendable, because I mean, you're really taking a look in the mirror and being hard with yourself. And look at what he's doing now. So I mean, it's paid off, and it's the right way to play. It was the right thing to do. I'm just super proud of the guy. Not a lot of people do it, you know what I mean? And everybody is capable of it. Every single person is capable of working on themselves. And shout out to the people around them, you know what I mean? Because that plays a part too. You can't have guys around you being like, yeah, constantly, when the answer should be no, take a second look, So he really did the work. We're seeing it, and he's making people better around him, and that's what a great basketball player does. RJ clearly is better. You see other people stepping up. Another guy that I love talking about with Randle is Bullock, because you see the two game, that they play a lot. So they clearly, there's a lot of things there, a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and Randle is a big factor for that, for sure.
Yeah, he's trusting his teammates. He's trusting, because last year he would be hesitant to make that pass, or he would force that shot. This year he's finding that open guy. He's waiting.
He knows it's coming.
Exactly. Yeah. And that shows that he's putting time in the film room, because he could dissect the play and he knows where the guy's going to be before the guy's even there. And I've seen that a lot, where it's like, wow, and we could see with his passing this year. How many triple doubles did he have this year? I mean, he's averaging over 6 assists a game for a power forward to average over 6 a game. I mean, that's impressive.
Tibbs is really working on these guys. He's been preaching about the positionless game, and you see it when you got guys like Julius doing things like that. You know what I mean? And even RJ to a degree. I just feel like the system that we play as a whole is so plug and play that you could easily plug in one piece, take out another piece, and you saw it against the Mavericks, where we didn't have Burks. You know what I mean? And other guys stepped up and figured it out. A couple games before that, where RJ didn't have a good game, Peyton stepped in and had 20 points. And that's what we need. You know what I mean? We know every single guy is not going to get 20 points every night. Exactly. So we need 3-4 of them, you know what I mean, to do the job, and other pieces to sprinkle in, and playing our defense. I think it's a winning combination. It's just that we really got to stick to it. So it's been a pleasure, man. That defense is just insane.
Defense it's Clamp City. Like, I think they're first in points, allowed per game. I think it's at 104, and then the next team it's a full 2 points. I think it's the Lakers. It's a full 2 points. I mean, the defense, and like we mentioned before, there's not all a bunch of all defenders on this team. Everyone's just locked in and playing team defense. Everyone's locked in and understanding their assignments, knowing, talking. That's what's been the fun part, is that everyone's in sync and they know what they have to do. It's just like you said, Danny. It's been fun to watch them defensively, what they've been able to do. I knew Tibbs was going to come in and change stuff, and I said, all right, the defense is going to get better automatically because Tibbs is there. I didn't see number one defense in the NBA.
No, me neither. Everybody bought in. Every single person bought in. And I was reading something the other day, and it was talking about Taj, and I think it was a quote from a post-game presser or a practice or something. And they asked him something like, why is this team playing at such a high level? And he said accountability. He said nobody wants to be the guy in the film room getting chewed out. So it just goes to show the culture that's being built over there. It's, everybody's holding themselves to a certain level, and, and everybody's backing that up. So it's just, I've been saying it, since I started believing it. And I really do think there's a new culture there, all around. And I pray that it stays and just doesn't disappear in the off season, No,
I think this is here to stay, especially the defensive culture that they've created. I mean, number one against the three, right? You can't shoot threes on this team. And then number two, protecting the rim. Noel, we thought when Mitchell was out, was like, okay, the defense might hurt, without having him, because we know Noel is definitely solid, but we don't have.
He's a little fragile.
He's fragile, right? We know he definitely could be fragile. There's a reason why he's signing 1-year deals for $5 million and all that, right? But when he plays, he's definitely effective. But he has been absolutely tremendous. Big reason why we're continuing to be the number one defense and one of the best teams protecting the rim, is Noel, and what his presence been since Mitchell's been out, and it's been really, like I said, I was worried when Mitchell went. I was like, man, the defense, especially, we're not great rebounding team as is, with him out, just having Noel, we don't have anyone else. We're gonna have to find someone off the scrap heap. But Noel has been. And
I'll tell you, even Tell that we picked up. I mean, the little minutes he's played, he just feels like he fits right in. But as much kudos as I want to give to Noel, Taj, man, also 35 years old, and this guy's still running up and down, and he's been big. There was, I think, 2 games ago, not the last game, the game before it, between him and Noel, they had like 19 points and like 18 boards. It's just huge to have that, because it backs us up. Like I said, when RJ is off for one game, or say Randall's off for one game, we got to pick that up. You know what I mean? So. And we see it happen, and I love it. I just everybody plays their part, and when they do, we have such a better shot at winning, and even when we're off and the shots aren't falling, that defense is what keeps us in the game. So it's we're in every game, every single game is winnable, and especially from here on out. So we got to get as many as we can,
Yeah, and a lot of people are worried, like, who's going to be that second option, right? Obviously Randall's is option number one, but I think over the last 20 games, we've seen that RJ Barrett could be that number 2. He has been playing absolutely great. I mean, he had a couple games against New Orleans and all that where, he can get the finish, but that's because matchups and all that, and we understood that. But he bounced back big in the Dallas game. I think he had 24 points, so he bounced back big and was a big reason why, they got the win over Dallas. But seeing his progression has been really fun too, because there was times early in the season where, I'm not gonna lie, Danny, I was like, man, the shooting, I'm worried about the shooting. He had that slump where he missed 24 straight threes and just didn't seem confident, and he wasn't. There was a lot of games where he wasn't playing in the fourth quarter, so I was worried, like, okay, like, what's going on here? But then he's definitely picked up his play on all facets, right? Everything I was worried about with RJ, like you said with Julius, right? You were worried about, man, he fixed on and he got better. And that's the same case with RJ, where he's like way more confident shooter. He's shooting over 40% from 3 the last 20 games, 22 points per game. And free throw shooting. The free throw shooting was the one thing I worried about since college. I remember, because I watch a lot of Duke basketball. that game against Michigan State in the Elite Eight, missing some crucial free throws. I'm like, I just hope this doesn't, translate into the NBA where he's going to continue to struggle. But this year, he's definitely improved on the free throw shoot. So talk to me about, RJ's progression in year 2 and, just 20 years of age. I mean, it's still, we forget that he's still 20 years old. But just talk to me about RJ and his progression so far.
Man, he's been a hell of a guy to watch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's been super fun watching RJ. His progression is something that if you notice, he works on through the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's up, Triple M checking in.
The Triple M.
It's been awesome to watch RJ throughout the season. You know what I mean? And as you touched on earlier, the free throws. Obviously, he had a slump. He wasn't hitting as many. Now watching him, definitely confident that he's going to hit the free throw. He had the slump with the 3 points. I'm such a believer in his bounce back game right now that the grit that he shows and that killer instinct that he has, I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? He's still young and he's already proven so much. So when he does have these little runs, before last night, he had the 2 games where he had less than 10 points each game. Mm-hmm. He comes back and he has 24 points. I think he had eight bounds, and either 2 or 4 assists. I don't remember. But he had a great game. You know what I mean? And he was in big impact in the fourth quarter and really helped with the energy to drive the win. So I just think he's only going to get better. His ceiling is so far up there. You know what I mean? He has so much room, and he puts in the work that we see it in season. I can't wait for the off-season progression and to see the jump that he takes next year. Where we saw Randall do it in between seasons. You know what I mean? We see RJ do it more in season. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just feel like he's faster. He picks things up faster.
Yeah. So, and like you mentioned with Randall, like you can get better. Even at 26, you can get better. And I feel like with RJ, people were like, "Oh, he can't get better," or he's not that good. I mean, he's 20. Like,
dude. I mean, obviously they never watched film.
Yeah, let's relax, people, before we give up. And that's another thing, and not to get up, but people give up on these young guys way too quick. Like way too quick. We're calling guys bust at 20 years old. It's like they're not even. They're still teenagers, and some of these kids. Like let them.
If Randall could do what he's doing in year 7, year 7, anybody could have a change. It's all within, man. You know what I mean? And who are we to put the value on? I mean, obviously we can judge it as fans. It's what we do, but at the same time, we don't know what each person has individually inside. You know what I mean? If all of a sudden a switch flips and all of a sudden they turn on, we saw it. So I just think that Barrett has just such a killer instinct and such a drive and a focus, and I just think it's only going to serve him well. I think he's only going to go up from here, and I'm so excited to see it. I think he's going to be an all-star, and I want him to stay a Knick his whole career. You know what I mean? Let's do it, dude. We finally got our guy. So I'm riding with him. I'm gonna die on that hill.
Yeah, and like it's crazy to think that I believe the last person the Knicks have been able to the last first round pick that they were able to re-sign, I believe, was like Charlie Ward, and that was in the 90s. Like, so we haven't been able to.
Long ago.
That's a long time, man.
23 years, dude. You're talking from 1990. 21 years, 22 years. So it's like
it's been a long time, man. And RJ feels like we thought that with Porzingis, right? We thought Porzingis was our guy, right? And obviously
that broke my heart, man.
That it's kind of sad how it ended. Like it, and looking at it now, like it's like we thought that was our guy, right? Because he was an all-star, right? Before before that dunk, against Milwaukee, all-star and all this, and if the future was bright, and then he tears his ACL, and then everything just went downhill from there. And now he's the enemy. He's the enemy now. So let's hope with RJ, because you just listen. We don't know what the future holds, but we're not gonna I'm like, please, RJ's got to be that guy. And if he is that guy, that's just gonna make the future even brighter. If he is that guy, because we haven't had that guy. I believe it too. Danny, I want it to happen so bad.
Me too, man.
We haven't had that
guy. The energy you have,
Pat.
I feel it too. I'm telling you,
we haven't had that guy since Pat. That's not our last guy. We thought, like I said, Porzingis was the guy. Melo was the guy, but we didn't. We had the one good year. It was different because It was a trade. So
Right.
we embraced him, right? When he was here, we embraced him, but
It's a
they
little
didn't put the
different.
surrounding parts around him. But to have
No,
a
they
boy,
tried, but they didn't. Not the right ones.
they didn't do
Not
it
the
the
ones
right
that
way,
we
but to
needed.
have a guy you drafted and is coming up and see him grow, and if he's a part of this, us coming back to officially being back, right?
Right.
It'll be so much fun to watch, and that could be our guy, So I hope it helps, elevate us, and we're perennial playoff team, like just like in the '90s with Pat, we're in it. I
Right.
think at this point we just want to be in it, right? Be
Definitely.
respected.
Absolutely, man. And I'll consider it a success once the season ends. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I don't want to put the cart before the horse too much. So I want to just see the season play out and then decide if it's here to stay. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because as much as I believe in RJ and as much as I believe in what I've been seeing, I just want to make sure that it continues. You know what I mean? As a Knicks
Mhm.
fan, we've experienced such letdown so many times. So
Too many.
it's been a long season. We've got so far. We've made such progress. I just want to see it continue and like I said, stay. So when the season ends and I could say, all right, we played the whole season hard. You know what I mean? We got to the playoffs. We played
Mhm.
extra games. Our guys got experience. In so many different ways. It's just then I'll feel a little bit more
Yeah.
comfortable, I guess. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I just think that's what it is. I'm not comfortable letting loose yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As a Knicks
I
fan, you can't be. You know,
exactly,
you can't.
exactly. You can as a Knicks fan, and I have a buddy of mine at work, at my job, where he's a Knicks fan too. And every day we're like, I'm not comfortable yet. I'm not comfortable yet. Like it's
Yep.
still like we mentioned before, right? There's we can go on a 5-game lose streak, 6-game lose 8 out of 9. Like I still have that fear. Like I still get scared. Like like every time we go on a little lose streak, I'm like, I hope this isn't 7 in a row and like that. Like I still have that fear because we've seen it, right? We've had
Yep.
some good starts in the past before, right? And then it spirals and then it's out of control. And then we lost 50 games. But
We had a
this
stretch
season,
where the third quarter was
yeah,
the
the third
detriment.
quarters where we just blow it. And how many games
Thankfully, we got past it. Yep.
yeah. How many more games we
But
could have won this season because of the third quarter if we had played better? But this season just feels different. It feels like, all right, I'm a little more at ease with knowing that okay, this year's different. This
it
year's
is.
is definitely different, and I every time I look at the standings and I'm just like, this team is 30-27. Like, when was the last
It
time we
doesn't
had 30
feel
wins?
real.
When was the
I
last time we
know.
had 30 wins? Like, it just doesn't feel real. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm like, we're only we're only what a game out of the 4th seed. Like this is real. Like,
Yep.
and even though I know the
We're
other
here.
all the way around, we're only a few games back of the 10th seed, so it could flip just like that. But
Yep. It
just try,
definitely
gotta be
can.
positive, right? Gotta stay positive. Don't look at the negative. Stay positive.
Positive vibes only, bro.
Positive
I'm
vibes
all
only.
about
But it's
positive
like
vibes, dude.
no matter what how this season ends, right? If it means we're in the play-in and we lose, or whatever, however way it ends, this is a positive outlook. No matter what, this is a positive season, and we're going in the right direction. I think that's the most important thing. Is now when you have that pitch to free agents, other than just saying, "Oh, we're New York City, we're playing the Garden," that's the pitch. Well, what about everything else? What about the infrastructure? What about the front office? Oh, that's not, that's bad, and that's why you don't get guys. Now you can show guys, hey,
Yep.
we have a competent, we have a great coaching staff. We have a competent front office. The defense has been great. Everything's working. We're moving forward. Now you could pitch that to free agents in the next coming years. And now
100%.
the New York Knicks become a way more attractive place to come than in previous years, where it was just, we got cap space. We may have the number 1 pick. We might have this. We're New York City, and that's it,
Right. Yep. 100%, man. And you're starting to see it. I don't know if you caught it, but Jeff Van Gundy last night, praising Randall a little
Yes.
bit, the Knicks. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
The night before that Noel block, number 10 on ESPN Top 10 highlights.
Yeah, we made
So
ESPN top 10. Yeah, we're getting
listen, and I
recognition
get it.
too. You see from the
We
outlets,
are
right? They're starting to put respect on New York
slowly.
slowly.
But definitely, man. So it's happening. Like I said, I want to see the season play out, and I want to see us finish it strong.
Mhm.
So that way at least the narrative going into the off season is positive. I don't care about, you see CP from Knicks Fan TV talk about it all the time, like
Mhm.
the narrative. You know what I mean? Like I don't care about the crap that goes on off the court
Yeah,
between the bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm
exactly.
all about what's happening on the court, dude. You know what I mean? And that's what I watch, and that's what I tune back in for. That's what I'm here for. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So that's what
100%.
matters most. So I want to see us finish the season strong and give us, keep us going and giving us that, to fall back on. Okay, there's the bullshit going on in the media, but my team is playing and not paying attention to nobody and nothing to that. So that's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to see continue. So I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Um, what do you see us doing in the off season in
I
terms
think
of making a move? Do you think they'll make a big splash, or you think they'll kind of be
I think so.
reserved a little bit?
I don't know if you could be reserved again another offseason. Like this last offseason, I was cool with them just sitting back, signing Burks and all of some bunch of 1 year deal guys. But I
Right.
feel like they're gonna have to do something, and it's gonna possibly be via trade because the free agent market isn't, it's kind of dried up because a lot of guys are re-signing. So
Yep.
they might have to do something. Now they have assets. They have multiple first round picks. They got some young guys who they could possibly move, but I really feel like something, we're gonna see a disgruntled guy, that's not happy in his situation, and I think that's something the Knicks will look at this all season and possibly make something like that happen. I think so. I think Leon, what's also been crazy is that you don't hear anything from the front office. You don't hear
Right.
leaks and all that. Like Leon has kept a tight lip.
So
We,
yeah, you're
we, we
100%
don't really
right.
know what is the are they going to stay the youth route? Are they going to stay status quo? Do they plan on making a big move? So we don't know, but just my gut feeling, I think they try to make a big move because we still listen. As fun as it's been this ride, you want to get better, right? And you got to
Yep.
compete with the Philadelphia 76ers who have 2 stars on their team. They might have the MVP, in
Yep. Everybody's got stars.
the Nets, we got to deal with the Nets,
Celtics got
with
Tatum and
Celtics,
Brown and
exactly.
Walker.
Exactly.
They
Milwaukee,
got a whole kit.
Giannis. Yeah. So I feel like something's gonna have to, they're gonna need to get another guy here who can take over, could be another scorer that we can use. And if you
Right.
have, whoever that is, add that to this nucleus. And I think that's something they're gonna go after because I know a lot of people said, well, just stay status quo and keep this. I don't think if you bring back the same club next season that we're gonna have the same magic as we are this year.
We got to definitely make a move.
We definitely gonna
I,
have to make a move to get better. So I think if they're a disgruntled guy, I think Leon's going to be talking. He got the connections. He
yep.
has all the connections, being a former agent and all that. So I feel like something big could happen with the Knicks this offseason.
Definitely, man. I feel like a lot of guys on this team have a chip on their shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's a piece that kind of connects them in a way
Mm-hmm.
and drives them forward. You know what I mean? And Tibbs kind of speaks to it and is able to rally them all together in that same direction. You know what I mean? And channel that for the greater good. The ball movement that we've seen lately too has just been unreal. But I kind of agree with you. I do think they're gonna absolutely do something. But I think that the way that they move is very methodical. I think that they're gonna kind of have a plan. You know what I mean? And it's all in. Half in. Little bit. And they're gonna have a bunch of guys here, 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 and they're gonna put values to everything. And I think that that's the one takeaway that I've seen from them is that they do kind of hold the line a little bit. You know what I mean? They kind of they act reserved. If the deal isn't right and they don't want to overspend, they're not going to pull the trigger. So I think it's going to be tough for them to move around in that mind frame and still make a splash. So I'm right where you are, man. I'm curious what they're gonna do because you don't hear much from them. You can only kind of judge from what we've seen, and where we're going is kind of the unknown, from what they've been into already. So I don't know. I don't know. I do trust them though, so I think that they will make the right moves. in the end. Whether it'll be enough, who knows? But it's a journey, you know what I mean? And it doesn't happen in one season. Sometimes it doesn't happen in two. So you got to be patient at the same time.
Yeah, and patience can sometimes be something we could lack because
Knicks fans ain't patient.
it's hard to be patient when your
for
team
sure.
has had 60 lost seasons and not win the lottery and had a lot of bad things happen, and it's hard to be patient. But I think we kind of have to. I think this is a 3-year stretch where we have these 3 years, right? Year one, hey, so far so good. Now we go into next season. We take another step, right? We don't have to go from all right, maybe a 6, 7, 8 seed, but like, oh, we got to be the number 1 seed right away. No.
No.
Let's try to get to all right. How do we become a top 4 seed? Right? How do we compete with teams in our own division? Because the Atlantic division is it's tough. Boston.
Yeah,
you got the Nets. You got even so Toronto. And Philly. It's tough. So you got to compete with teams in your own division.
You're right, man. I feel like talent is just spread around so equally, almost to a degree right now, that there's not too many teams that are bad. You know what I mean?
Especially with the new playing thing too. Now gives more teams hope.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit different, and the landscape of the East is definitely tough. So I'm with you. We definitely got to figure out how we're gonna take that next step and do it consistently. But I think that's what we need to do is take it one step at a time. You know what I mean? Let's finish out the season. Let's see what we can do in the off season. Let's come up with a game plan for next season, and and let's stick to it.
Exactly.
So,
and I trust that that's what they're doing. I really trust that's what Leon and company are doing. They're taking the steps, the baby steps. They're not gonna try to hit a grand slam, right away. They're gonna put the necessary steps it takes, to get this team where it needs to be in the next few years. So I'm optimistic. For the first time, it feels right. It just feels like they're getting everything in the right direction, Danny. So I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about the future.
Dude. So I was just gonna say, going off of that, and being excited about the future, I'm gonna take it to the near future. And what do you see for this game today, man? Do you see RJ taking over a little bit more so than he did the last time that we played? Because I definitely feel like he's going to at least try to. You know what I mean? I think he's going to definitely come out with more fire than last game. I think we're coming off 5 wins, whereas a team going to have a lot more energy. What do you see, for the game today?
I think he's going to come out try to show out because I think every time he goes against Zion, he's always, even though they're boys and they've been boys for a while, they played together at Duke. There's always going to be that, like, I got to show out. And I feel like even the last time we played, like he tried to do a little too much. Just play his game. He needs to play his game, play within the system, and he'll be fine, But there's always that competitiveness with Zion because listen, Zion is the NBA is trying to make Zion the face of the league and all that, and all this and all that. And Zion has had a pretty good season so far. He was an all-star and all that, but RJ has that little chip on his shoulder because when he went to Duke, it was supposed to be him and he was supposed to be the face of that team, and then Zion came out of nowhere. So there's always that little competitiveness with Zion and all that. So I think today, he did too much. He didn't play the fourth quarter. So, that should definitely motivate him that he didn't get to play our fourth quarter against New Orleans. So I think he comes out, plays his game. I think he continues playing off, the last good game he had, against Dallas, so I think, he'll bounce back good, and he'll have a solid game. New Orleans defense isn't good, so he'll be able to attack them, and do some stuff, get in the paint, just do that, hit his corner threes and all, which has been tremendous. He loves that corner three. That's what with him. So I think he'll be fine today. I think he'll be fine, and hopefully we can make it 6 in a row. I think they haven't won 5 in a row for a long. What has it been?
7 years, I think.
7 years.
I think 2014. I'm pretty sure. 2013 or 14. I'm pretty sure it's 14.
Yeah,
but yeah, dude, Peyton is also from Louisiana. So
Mhm.
I just feel like him with that connection, right? We had Randall obviously playing that 1 year and
Mhm.
Pelicans getting rid of him. And then you had the RJ Zion, kind of, theme going on there too. So there was multiple threads,
Yep.
and connections to New Orleans. So you saw Randall and Peyton kind of come out on top. So I think today being home, I think RJ plays better at home. I just think that he's definitely going to come out stronger. I don't know. Listen, I'll take if Peyton's going to come out and give me 20 points, I'll take it. I just don't see it all the time. I don't think
Yeah.
it'll probably happen today. So I think it's going to be a little bit more of the Randall RJ show, a little bit more like we saw about 5-6 games back before we started this streak. There was
Mhm.
a couple streaks where them two were just clicking on the court so much. I remember that watching them running up and down together. Just they excite me, man. They really do. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited, dude. I wanna put the hammer down hard today and really, you know what I mean, and come out crazy energy. I wanna get a win. Let's Why not, man? Like let's go. Let's keep it going. And this is the first of 6 at home, you
Mhm.
know. So let's go.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited, and I got Danny B, on the show on Nothing But Net Radio channel on Dash Radio. My guest today, so far having a great conversation, talking about the New York Knicks and all that. So let's talk about. I want to talk about Elfrid Payton. He's kind of a guy that's kind of you know, he a lot of people aren't big on Peyton, and he gets a lot of flack, especially on social media and all that. But I feel
Yeah,
like a
too much.
lot of it is a lot of it is undeserving at times, because I feel like people are expecting him to be, CP3 and all that, and it's just like he's playing his role. He's not like we're paying him a bunch of money and all that. So just talk to me about Elfrid Payton, because there's been moments where he's still not, his outside shooting isn't great and all that, but there's times where he's had some good games, especially when he gets to the basket, which is his
Yep.
forte. That's his bread and butter is attacking the basket and all that. So talk to me about Elfrid Payton and what he's done this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm gonna start off right at the beginning. So before the season started, I feel like we were looking elsewhere, and there was nothing really that we were able to get. So
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
saw they waited a little bit. They didn't just re-sign him. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They did wait a little bit and they signed them a little bit closer to the start of training camp and season.
Yep.
So we did look elsewhere. I think that Tibbs ended up just feeling comfortable with the way that the gameplay started when Peyton started. Whether Peyton played a ton of minutes or not, I just think that and you saw him try different combinations. He
Mm-hmm.
did. I just think that he liked the flow of the game more when Peyton started, regardless of his contributions. Through the season, I think that the team kind of took it up a notch. As we've seen, they blew the expectations out of the water. And as a team, in doing so, in taking that step, I just feel like certain pieces of Peyton's game don't fit what we try to do. So there are times when we need the driving to break the
Mm-hmm.
zones out and stuff like that, and he does excel at that. And there are times where he does play, good defense, but there are times where he doesn't, and things cost us.
Of course.
We can't wave off a double team, on Kyrie Irving, where we double teamed him 2-3 times beforehand and it worked no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then have the shot sank at you, in front of your face. So, but listen, I don't slander nobody. You know what I mean? If you're a Nick, I'm rooting for you no matter what.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's only going to help the
100%.
team. So, I'm not with none of that. That's definitely crossing the line with all that stuff that went on with him. Um, I want him to be used in the right light at the right times and not too much. And I feel like Tibbs has been doing a really good job with doing that lately. Peyton, there was 2 games in the last 2 weeks where he fouled. He got 2 quick fouls in the first quarter, and Tibbs pulled him. And the energy shifted so much, where Rose came off the bench and shifted the game. And I feel like Tibbs finally saw that. And so now the way that I feel that Peyton's played when he starts and he gets that starting nod, I feel like it's only to come out of the gate with a certain momentum
Agree.
because Peyton's not over dominant with the ball. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to run the offense.
No,
So
no.
he could start and Randall could still run the offense. RJ could still run the offense. We could still be looking for Bullock. You know what I mean? So I think that's why he does it. I think that he knows he could pull him now, faster, put Rose in. The pace quickens. You have, more energy anyway.
Exactly.
So I just think that, listen, it is what it is. It's a situation we're in. We got where we are with him. So we're gonna finish the season out with him. He's not going nowhere. I don't love that
Exactly.
he gets 30 minutes, close to 30 minutes a game. I'd rather
Mhm.
him stay closer to 12, 15 minutes a game. So he's been trending more in that realm. So I'm all right with that. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I just don't like the slant. I don't like when guys slander people.
It's
Like
no good, man. It's not cool.
I don't like, especially when he's on your team. Like I know he's not the perfect player and all that. I know his perimeter shooting isn't great and all that, but he's on our team, and that's how I see it. I just don't like the slant, and he hasn't been as bad as people. You would think he was the absolute worst. You know, you would think
Yeah.
he was so garbage, but he had his moments. Like I said, you don't want him playing 30 minutes a game and all that. Sometimes
No,
that can be frustrating. You want to play around, like you said, 15, 20 minutes, like you
that's what I
said,
would like to see. Yeah,
that
and
to
with
me.
Rose being healthy.
Exactly. And that's another thing. Rose has missed a lot of time. Quickly is still a
Yep.
rookie. I know everyone wants rookie. Quickly to be in the starting lineup, and I've had those moments too. But he is a rookie, still getting adjusted to the NBA game and all that. And
Yep.
but he's been fine. Who are we going to get in the offseason? Last offseason that was going to change his team.
Right.
There wasn't guys. Fred
Right.
VanVleet was thrown around, but he didn't want to come to the Knicks. He was going to go to Toronto. So who was there
Right.
wasn't
Plus the
guys
bag he
available.
got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got the
No,
bag too, and
yeah,
being,
he did.
and so, I know there was a lot of rumors about him, but he wound up staying in Toronto. So, you got L for a year, paid him, you didn't have to give him a lot of money. And then
Nope.
we figured, like I
And
said,
we
this is
still
all a process. Like people forget, this
it
is a
is.
process. Like, he's probably not going to be here next year. And then we will figure out the point guard
Sure.
situation where there's more guys available. Lonzo Ball. Hey, I'm on the Lonzo Ball train. I'm
I'm
on
with
that.
it.
I'm with the
Listen, as
Lonzo
long as the
Ball.
price is right and we don't give him like 25, go crazy with it and give him
Yeah.
too much money, I'm okay with it. I think he brings a lot of good to the team. Do I think he'll be the only saving grace and the only savior? No, because
No.
I think there's so many other moving pieces.
Hmm.
I think he helps, but listen, even if we don't and we find something else, I think that it'll. I trust the front office that it'll be a piece that we'll be able to fit in the right way, and Tibbs will be able to utilize to make the team better. And that's all you want is the team to get better. We've been getting better. We want to take the next step and continue to get better. So I trust
That's
them,
it.
and there's only so much you could do with what we see at the moment, and we don't know what they're thinking. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tough. It's like it's really just taking stabs in the dark almost.
Yeah. Like you said, we don't know what to think. I mentioned that before. We haven't heard a lot of stuff with Leon as far as what's the
Nah, they're still
plan
tight.
and all that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do this offseason. But like you said, we're making the right strides. And that's the most
Yep.
important thing is that they're making the correct strides to get to put themselves in positions to where like we talk to a free agent and they're intrigued. They're not going to just, it's not just, hey, New York City, blah, blah, blah. It's, hey, we actually have a competent team that you come here, we're going to get better and we could take that next step with you here. So that's
Yep.
what they're doing. And like I said, it's all about it's a building. We're building it the right way, I think, right? We're building it the right. I think the best thing that happened for this team was to strike out in free agency, 2 years ago. I think that was the best
I
thing to
agree.
happen. Sometimes you need that. Like, hey, stop doing that. Stop thinking that you have to tank and you have cap space and you're New York City and that's what's going to work because it hasn't worked. It didn't work
There was
before, really. It
there
never
was
really
still
worked.
tank talks this season, man.
Yeah.
Like even a couple of weeks ago, I remember hearing, people talking tanking, and it's like we don't have to. You know what I mean? The whole concept of a new culture is to not tank. The culture we had was a tanking culture. You know what I mean? So if you're trying to turn the ship around, you don't want to tank. And listen, I understand that you don't want to get a lottery pick, that's high, a 9, 10. You don't want to. I get it, but you know what? We're past that. So we have assets. We don't need to worry about the draft. You know what I mean? I get it. We got our kids. We can develop them. We can make moves. I think we're all right. I think what's more important is developing winning habits and winning games at all costs. Giving RJ, listen, you can even throw Knox and Frank in there too. Those guys, they've been on the squad the last 3, 4 years. That's all we've done is lose. So you know what I mean? Give the kids a winning feeling, man. If you play sports, you know what it's like to be on a winning team, and you know what it's like to be on a losing team. And if you're a fan of the Knicks and you want the Knicks to succeed, they need to understand what that feeling is like having a winning season, and ride that into the next season and build on it, and I just think that is so important, and that culture. And I feel like we're in the right direction. We're doing that, and that's why. So I keep saying, I want to see this season end and it continue. You know what I mean? Because it's so big. People that'll do the job itself. You know what I mean? We don't have to pitch people like you said, and go crazy. Listen, it speaks for itself. You want to come to the Knicks because it's a fun team to come to. You know,
Mhm.
but it's a fun culture. You know,
Exactly. And
so
we want to get to the point where guys are looking at the Knicks like, you know what? I want to go there. I want to go to the Knicks. Like it's, we don't have to pitch. Guys are going to want to come here, right? We saw
right,
James Harden, right? He wanted to go to Brooklyn. It's like, I want to go to Brooklyn. We want to get to
and
that
listen,
point
I
where
get
guys,
that. It is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah, it is what it is, and but the Nets were fortunate that they were able to get James Harden, and so we have to get to that point where guys are going to want to come here and be like, no, I want to be a part of this.
We'll
I'm not
get there.
afraid of the challenge of that Knicks haven't won since 1973. I'm not afraid of that. It's kind of
Hmm.
like with Melo, right, and Amari, right? They kind of started that like they wanted to do that. It didn't work out, but you want that, right? You want guys to come here and not be afraid of the big lights, right? Certain guys
Yep.
might be have been afraid of that, right? And we've seen that, so, but like you
That's
said,
why I love
we're
RJ,
building.
man.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You
I feel
know,
like he's going to be
he
that
don't
one of
care.
those.
He don't waver. Nothing bothers him, and he's
Yeah.
so young. So I feel like he's just soaking it in, like
Yeah.
So
He,
I just love it, man. Because like you said, with Amari and Melo, and when we had that little run there, they wanted it. Melo took the challenge
mhm.
to come to New York. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
Yep.
I feel like RJ also has it. I think there was an interview with him and Zion. They were talking about where do you guys want to go, and RJ
Hmm.
said he wanted to be a Knick.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like he's just built for it, man. He was in Duke. He had the limelight. Right next
Hmm.
to Zion. It's nothing. You know what I mean? You see him talk to the cameras now. I feel like he almost like he don't care. He kind of enjoys it. So I'm all about it, man. Like RJ is my guy, dude.
Yeah. He's
I'm
got that
riding
mindset.
to the end.
He's got that New York City mindset, and that's the one thing. Like he embraced it, right? Like
Yep.
he's built for New York. He can tell he dealt with the first year, all the BS of the first year with everything that happened last year with or not getting all these guys in free agency, not being the number one pick, not being Zion, and
Yep.
all that. He's dealt with
All
all that, right?
rookie snub.
All rookie,
Yep.
which but you know what? I know people like they get mad at that, but to me, sometimes things are meant to happen.
Oh,
There's
I'm with
certain
you.
things that are
Totally
just
with
meant
you.
to happen. Like, okay, let's not, that was supposed to happen. That's just more fuel to the fire, right? That's just more fuel for
Yep.
you to get to where you need to be. Because listen, you're way ahead of. I forgot. I think it's Terrence Davis that took his spot. Let's be real. Like, I think it was Terrence Davis. I could be wrong, but it was on guy in
Yeah, I don't
Toronto.
remember.
We like we're
I think it was Terrence Davis.
yeah, I think it was Terrence Davis, and like we all know RJ's a better player, but it was just a lot of narratives too. That's also another factor, right? Narratives and all this about New York and all that, and RJ has shown that he's going to be a good one. He's going to be a good one. I think that's
He
the one
is,
thing
man.
we could definitely agree that he's going to be good. He's getting better. He's getting better, and this team is just it's just been fun to watch, Danny. It's been fun to watch. It's been a hell of a
Dude,
year.
it's been a blessing, man. It definitely has. Definitely has.
Yeah. So on that note, we're gonna wrap up the show. But Danny, my guy, pleasure having
Dude,
you on, man.
thank you again, dude. I appreciate it, man. I had a great conversation with you. I enjoyed it, and I definitely I'm hoping we can get to do so in the future. I know we got something in the works, so
Hmm.
I'll keep that under wraps at the moment. But we'll definitely get together again soon. I got a good
Yeah,
feeling about that.
yeah, for sure. We're definitely gonna do some more stuff in the future. And like I said, continue success with everything you're doing. Like I said, man, you're on that Mount Rushmore for me for
Man,
Knicks.
thank you.
You're on that
I
Mount
appreciate
Rushmore.
that,
You're
dude.
getting there. You're one of the best out here. You're one of the best.
Dude,
Your Knicks fandom shows, and everyone sees it. So continue success with everything down the road, and let's go Knicks, right?
Thank you,
Let's
brother. Definitely, man. Let's go, Knicks, bro.
go,
And same
Nick.
to you,
So
dude. Blessings to everything you're doing, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, bro. So I'm Chris LeBron off the ball. That's Danny B. Nothing but net radio on Dash Radio. Thanks for everyone tuning in. Thanks for everyone for listening to the live show. Like I said, me and Danny gonna do some more stuff down the line. So on that note, guys, take care, be safe, and let's go Knicks. Take care, guys.